Quest 2 accessories have been around such a long time that some of them are on their second generation. We've got the first generation of this premium deluxe audio strap for Oculus Quest 2, not to be confused with the Vive Deluxe Audio Strap. Let's check it out. An important thing about the fact that this is the first gen, it looks like they may be trying to discontinue or get rid of these because there's a 2022 version and they've dropped the price so cheap on this, it's down to $30 and there's a 20% off. So you're talking $24 for a head strap that also includes onboard headphones, and they're plugged in. These aren't those fake earmuffs that try to trick you. These are actual headphones. This for a long time was the head strap of VirtualRealityCheck, if you know him from some of our collabs and stuff. Looks like it pretty much comes mostly assembled. So it is by Globular Cluster. Install guide, sticker on top. I don't think we're gonna need that. So pretty basic here. You got your headphone cord hanging down. One part of this is just gonna land on top of your head, kind of like a halo, but not exactly, because it's not really a forehead pad that holds it up. It kind of just holds some of the extra weight there. Each headphone is gonna drop down the side. And we've actually tested a set of headphones very similar to these, but they were ones that hooked onto your strap. They weren't these exact ones, but they go way up, they go way down, they turn back and forward, and they do seem to lock in position pretty well. For kids and very small head people, please use this addition pad to attach the two pads together. Wow, you couldn't think of any better phrasing there? I feel like that's just kind of rude. Hey, are you a very small head people? So basically it's got one pad that is your rear head pad. It's round, it is flexible. Feels like it'll fit decently. But if you're a very small head people, you need to attach two of these together so that it pulls in even further. We won't need that. I guess it's nice of them to think of that. Oh. Uh-oh. Well, if you're gonna attach it, only attach it once and don't take it off again. I tried to rip it off and the Velcro just came right off with it. Whoopsie. Oh, we're off to a great start with this strap. Let me try to repair this real quick. Okay, we're gonna put the small head people one away before I completely ruin it. So unlike most of them, it doesn't snap or anything. This literally is just a Velcro on Velcro here in the back. It's obvious as you're holding this thing, this is definitely a pretty cheaply designed strap. Slide on feels solid, it stays in place pretty well. Yeah, you're not left questioning if that's gonna go somewhere you don't want it to. They send you a couple tiny little cable management hooks. I feel like you'd be better off just trying to find a way to hide this yourself, like up in here maybe. But it's nice they include those hooks just in case. I don't have one of my battery straps on here, so this thing's kind of already dying. So we'll see if we can get through some testing here before it completely dies. Oh boy. Now, unfortunately, the headphones, they come out real easily, so when you're putting it on, you can kind of wiggle your head, but I wish they were like other ones that would snap and stay out, and then you could push them in, because I mean, when you go to put that on, it's a slight nuisance, because what it's also gonna do is it's gonna move them to where you're gonna have to readjust them every time you put them on. Boy, this rear head thing is not a lot of fun. I just want it to like tip in more, and there's not really a lot of adjustability besides just trying to land it in the right spot on your head. Everything about this, when you put it on, it all feels like you paid a very low price for it. It's also not the most stable thing in the world. Whew. Sound on it's not terrible though, I'll give it that. At full volume, a gunshot actually hurts. The headphones rest on your ears, they don't really squeeze your ears, which is actually kind of a welcome feeling because it doesn't feel like it's putting pressure on them. It doesn't feel like it's gonna retain a whole ton of heat. Oh boy. So far, the audio is the best thing about it. It's actually a little overwhelming. I'm so used to using off-ear speakers of one way or another that I have to keep it pretty much at full volume all the time in most apps, maybe one notch down. At full volume, this feels like way too much. I want it down like 2 notches or maybe even 3. That is probably more because I'm used to the off ears that lose some volume when these are just on ears, but they do a good job, I will say. And I remember I actually reviewed a set very similar to these. I liked them, I just couldn't get them to attach to any of my head straps. That's kind of where my love for it runs out. This piece is fine. It kind of balances some of the weight on top of your head, but when you're used to a halo, this is more like an elite strap with a hard top band. Still is gonna put a lot of that pressure on your face. Like I mentioned before, everything about it just feels kind of cheap. If this was your first head strap, you got it over the stock one, and at $24 though, you'd probably feel pretty good about the decision. But when you've been through enough head straps like I have, this thing feels very cheap. The gear sounds cheap and feels cheap. The way this thing just Velcros on in the back and goes on the back of your head, it never feels very stable or nice. But you just can't get a head strap and audio for $24. That's like an unheard of bargain. After taking this and testing this in some games, I will definitely say the best thing about this is the audio. It's not gonna compare to a super high-end, really good audio solution or, you know, a really nice set of headphones, but for what these are and for the price you pay, you get such loud sound. I ended up, most of the games, I was rocking it 2 notches down instead of at full volume. And I had it at full volume for a little while on pistol whip to try and really assess what it was doing, and I was like, I'm damaging my hearing, I gotta stop this, so I turned it down. That is probably its most redeeming quality, along with its price. $24, you cannot get a decent head strap and headphones for even close to that. It does make it get judged a little differently because it's so cheap. As far as the things I don't really like about it, I do wish this rear headpiece attached a different way. This Velcro just feels cheap. You feel like if you worked around with it enough, you could knock that off. I don't see any easy way to solve that problem. The gear on it doesn't feel great. It's fine. Compared to a lot of gears out there, it's about the same. It's very flexible. Doesn't seem like you're gonna have any problems over time with the flexibility of it. This piece, you can move it back and forth. I don't love that they did the brown color, but the updated 2022 version, it looks like it's the same head strap, but they've just switched these to black and cranked the price up to $50, which absolutely is not worth it to me because you can get a premium head strap for that price. But at this price, I see why VirtualRealityCheck used this head strap for so long, and he really swore by it because you just can't get this much head strap anywhere else. I gotta say, I'm gonna leave a link in the description, but with those disclaimers that this is if you're on a budget, you want a decent strap and audio, and you only wanna pay a small price, this is probably one of your best bets there. The only other thing, they haven't made any sort of edition with this that has a battery, but I've become so reliant on my batteries that I feel like I would just have my headset dead all the time unless I had a dock to set this in. But boy, for the people who like still have an anchor dock and have never gotten a head strap, this would fit perfectly in your anchor dock, and you'd have headphones on there, you'd have a head strap on there. I even am thinking about a couple people I know who have anchor docks. I might take this head strap or let them try it out and see if they want to swap for what they have, because it's just nice that everything's built on. So what do you think? Have you ever experienced any of the globular cluster headphones? Have you had this head strap? Was it where you started? I'd love to hear in the comments down below. But I want to say thank you for coming out and being here with me today, and I will see you in another reality.